Science is more than a body of... Science is more than a body of knowledge. It's a way of thinking, a way of skeptically interrogating the universe with a fine understanding of human fallibility. It's not that pseudoscience and superstition and New Age so-called beliefs and fundamentalist zealotry are something new. They've been with us for as long as we've been human. But we live in an age based on science and technology with formidable technological powers.
The age of modern science, which is the age where you put up a hypothesis and you test it and you wait to see if other people verify it or falsify it, that beginning around 1600. Before then, people just thought stuff up and thought it might be true and sort of lived with it. So the transition from a flat Earth to a round Earth, and Earth in the middle of the known universe, and the Sun in the middle of the known universe, all that happened before this era.
Hello everybody, I'm here, it's Timbo. Why does it sound so... haven't plugged the bloody microphone in. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Sciencey, lightly science-flavored happening. Hopefully that sounds a little bit better now. Maybe practically the same. That's science, babies. There's no getting around it. I've ran out of costumes. I was going for a crisp white lab coat as worn by the scientists, but I don't think there's any escaping the fact that this is just a woman's, like shirt dress thing. You know what I mean? But it's as close as I'm going to get because in New Zealandia, we are still in the land of the lockdown. But that's okay because we're getting out of it soon. And not anyone else's. So, we battle on. We got a little keyboard cam today. Always a nice addition. I was just trying to figure out why I couldn't get the bloody... no, it's not going to work. That's cool. That's fine. We'll plow on. No chirons. Folks, in science news, we almost got killed by an asteroid recently. No one knows about this. Earlier this month, an asteroid the size of a truck went straight past us. Went straight past the Pacific Ocean, where I'm currently at. It was only going 7,000 kilometers above the Earth. We didn't even know it was there until it went right past us. That's science, baby. Crazy stuff. Good to be here for the science episode. We've got to check on the chooks. I think that's the most important thing. Concerningly, it's not loading very well, which doesn't bode well for a live streaming show that relies on good internet. Got to see how those chooks are going, you know? There we go. The chooks are back, baby. Nighttime in Chookville. I think I can turn sound on for them. Oh no, we've lost it again. Gutted. Absolutely gutted. Well, I'm sure that that's an issue that'll plague us through the show, which is good. That's just some science, doing what science does. Hey, look at this. If I figure this out. Look at that. Star Wars wipe. Sci-fi. It's all on theme. It's all on message. Got some cool shit happening on the show today. Don't know if we'll do the full hour and a half. Let's see. Let's vibe it out. We've got some cool content. I put the word out to everyone. I just had this crazy thought that I would like to see some fan fiction, pornographic writings, some sort of Mills and Boone type short story writing about Garfield, the beloved lasagna-loving cat, famous from the cartoons and the comic books. And I've got a couple of real humdingers to read for you. Good to have everyone tuning in there in the comments. How's everybody doing today? Nice to see you there. What's the first thing I want to do? Oh, of course. Nothing screams science like ripping into our catch and beak of the week from Gaby. So I better open these up so I can actually see what's going on there. Gaby is our fantastic contributor who sends us periodically, quite often actually, I'd say more often than periodic, these great posters that she puts up at work. Here we go. We've got the beak of the week on screen, and that is the Greater Rhea. I reckon that's how we call it. Very popular in Germany. They can run up to 65 kilometers an hour. Kept in farms for meat or as attractions in public zoos. In 2007, Rheas, or Nandus, as they're often called in Germany, orchestrated an epic heist. 3 male and 4 female birds escaped their enclosure and took off to the rural German countryside to start a new life. They were successful at evading all attempts at recapture by the German authorities and instead began breeding furiously. The colony of 7 escapees may now have 700 birds. That is a heck of a spawn rate. Well done to you, the Rhea. Bloody humans trying to keep them down. I'm glad you got out. Well done to you. Fair play. We've got a fish. Our catch of the day is the swordfish. You can eat swordfish. They're found widely in warm and temperate parts of the Pacific, Atlantic and Indian Oceans, typically 3 meters in length, though the largest on record was 4.3. Jesus, that is a big fish. And 650 kg in weight. Swordfish, one of the fastest fish in the ocean, and have been known to travel at 97 kilometers an hour. You could almost ticket them on a highway. They have very few natural predators and use their sword to slash at prey to injure and slow them down. They are carnivorous and eat other fish and cephalopods. And they're cold-blooded, and they've got special organs to warm their eyes and brains. God damn, swordfish are fucking terrifying, but that's very cool. Thanks, Gaby, for sending those in. My God, I'm not going to attempt to eat one of those. I feel like I haven't earned it. I'm going to rip into a little bit of this Garfield pornography, and I've just got to find some appropriate music for this, because I think I did get some. I think this is the guy that I wanted to play here. Oh, I see. I won't be able to hear it unless I hear my own voice. Just check that it's work. Oh, I can't hear that at all. There we go. There we bloody go. Is that porny? Not really. And keep it on anyway, I kind of like it. So this was sent in to us from, this one's from Tyler, and Tyler writes, "Hey there Tim, had a crack at writing a short sexy Garfield story, feel free to read it, or not, whatever. I'm not your boss. Thanks for the content. Love, Tyler." The keys jingled in the door. I just could turn off my own voice because otherwise I will go insane. There we go. The keys jingled in the door and Garfield knew at once John was home. It had been a busy day for Garfield, and only moments before had the living room been strewn with the love rags he so often come back to throughout the day. He respected John enough to clean up the remnants of passionate self-love in his own home at least. John entered the house and immediately cracked a window, but that only generated enraged cries from the cat. "Don't let that stank out." John obeyed and closed the window. This is, I would go beyond saucy. This is some intense fetish stuff. This pleased Garfield as he could continue to savour this musk for future masturbatorial endeavours. Could it be bottled, he thought to himself, before brandishing his naked asshole. What am I hearing? That's weird. Could it be bottled, he thought to himself, before brandishing his naked asshole to John in his customary greeting, submissively. Oh, it's the chickens. The live stream came back on. Man, that freaked me out. Submissively, John took in the sight to an overripe apricot, then proceeded to unpack the groceries on the bench as instructed. Prime beef mince was always the first item out of the bag. Maintaining eye contact, John slowly peeled back the plastic. This gave Garfield a flush, a feeling of superiority, as if standing over fresh prey. He knew this mince would be his victim tonight. Just one sniff, Garfield whispered to himself before regaining composure. He knew his climax would be superior if he showed patience. John lined up the other ingredients in reverse alphabetical order and backed away as the animal came forward. "You've done well, John," he said without looking at him. "You need to get changed." Wordlessly, John backed out of the room, making sure he maintained good posture. Garfield demanded he have good posture. With John momentarily gone, this was Garfield's moment. Pushing the jar of pasta... Welcome, Guy Montgomery. We're doing some user-submitted Garfield pornography, short story writing, fanfic. With John momentarily gone, this was Garfield's moment. Pushing the jar of pasta sauce off the bench and shattering it on the floor, he took the packet of pasta and went to ground. Using the raw pasta, Garfield began troweling the sauce into his bulbous genitals. The barbs on that cat's dick had become so rounded with overuse it resembled more of a studded red sizzler than a kitty's cat prick. John returned, dressed in a military uniform with arseless chaps. Garfield slunk across the floor, leaving a trail of seminal-infused pasta sauce in his wake. "Stand to attention!" It was now John barking out the orders as Garfield slunk into an upright position, albeit leaning on a chair. Scooping up a fistful of the prime minced beef and compacting it into his gaping anal cavity, John stood backwards over his feline as if it prepared for a medical exam. Garfield popped himself up and leaned in nose first, deeply inhaling over and over. This is nasty stuff. Who is this show for, eh? That's the question. But we must continue. Brandishing his fangs, the cat took breath after breath of John's meaty anus with such severe intensity it exposed the whites of his eyes. Sensing an orgasm was imminent, and knowing he hated to be looked at when finishing, John popped the meat out of Garfield with a sense of into a kind of seductive patty. Seems unlikely that anything about the situation is that seductive. Running to the corner of the room and thanking Garfield, he heard the familiar shriek and knew it was all over. This is my life, John thought. This is my situation. Tyler, I'm with Sanjay, man. I don't know if this is going to be canon, but that's not the point of fanfic. Fanfic is about taking something, making it your own, and taking out of the comfort zone that the creators intended for Garfield the cat. Jesus Christ, that was intense. Good though. I appreciate the creative writing, that's all. Now, I've got another song. I think we broke an exclusive music video from Mellow Code last time, and I accidentally got his name wrong, so my apologies for that. Here is a brand new track from Mellow Code, and I think it's called For the Empire. So this is good, sciencey fare. Check this shit out from Mellow Code, For the Empire. That was Mellow Code with Fall of Empire. Thank you so much for sending that in. As you can see, everybody, Carlo Ritchie's here. G'day, Carlo.
Good evening, Tim. Good evening, everyone.
If people can actually hear you, and I'm pretty sure they can, this might be the first time I've got a guest on successfully with the audio.
Oh, God. Well,
like straight off.
we'll find out, I suppose.
Yeah, huge stakes. Carlo, I got you on to talk to you about something sciencey, and I told you what the thing was, but then you researched it as well, so now we both kind of know about this thing.
Yeah, one has to go into things with a warmed ear, I feel.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You did a little pre-research, because the idea was that, first of all, it's going to give you a little bit of a break. Because you did such a great job with your research on the other ones, particularly the Titanic, which is good. It's been the talk of the town.
Well, it's a life's work, you know.
But what we've got this week is the Philadelphia experiment, which happened in 1943. So I've got a piece written to deliver for you, Carlo. Should I do that?
Yeah, please.
And then we'll discuss it.
I'd love you to.
So, Carlo and everyone watching, the Philadelphia experiment, what is it, you may ask? Well, it's an event that happened, a science event that happened on July 22nd, 1943 on board the USS Eldridge, which was a naval vessel being equipped with brand new technology based on Einstein's unified field theory. With a large number of military officials and members of the US government present, so the story goes, the ship both teleported and time traveled itself to the year 1985. Now, the US had been fighting in World War II for a couple of years at this point, and what they were trying to do was make a ship that was completely invisible to the naked eye. And the Navy believed that they could do this by using a high-powered electrical generator to create an energy field that would bend light around the ship. People called the incident the Philadelphia experiment because it took place at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. Now, I don't want to let the records from the US Navy or accounts by every service member on board who claim it was in Brooklyn at the time fool you. The ship was definitely in Philly on that date. So these series of experiments had been going on through the summer in 1943, and they were met with increasing amounts of success. Early on, they actually managed to make the ship briefly be covered with a thick green fog, and it was completely obscured from view. This also caused the seamen to feel very ill. But then eventually they perfected the technology, and on July 22nd, 1943, in a demonstration in front of onlookers, the entire ship disappeared. And then apparently it was observed appearing out of thin air at a shipyard in Norfolk, Virginia, some 320 kilometers away, instantaneously. And then when it reappeared in Philadelphia, horrible scenes, Carlo. You would have read about this.
Oh, yeah.
Men and ship fused as one.
At last.
There was a guy, they've been trying for so long. There was a guy whose hand was embedded into a steel portion of the hull. It was a grisly scene. It was a bad scene, and a lot of reports of naval men on board, seamen in fact, going completely insane. So how do we know about this, Carlo? Well, it's thanks to a guy called Morris Jessup, who I heard some people refer to by a different first name, and I'm not sure why.
He's a man of many names. Mystery. Internet.
Yeah. Now, I want you to ignore the fact that he was a sci-fi writer and UFO enthusiast, and instead focus on the fact that he had a master's degree in astronomy. Jessup wrote a book called The Case for the UFO, and he got info from a guy who claimed to be on board the Eldridge when it teleported. He was probably approached, I think, because, you know, he was putting himself out there as a free thinker, and marrying his academic studies of astronomy and archaeology, he was basically the original ancient aliens guy. So he started telling the story of the Philadelphia experiment and assembling the information for a forthcoming book that he was going to write on the subject. And I would like you now to ignore the fact that his wife had left him and that he'd had a serious car crash, and instead focus on the fact that on the 19th of April 1959, Morris had a friend called Dr. Manson Valentine, and he told him that he had made a breakthrough in his work. This is what Morris was telling to Dr. Valentine. He said, I've got the timeline nailed, and I've made a significant breakthrough on the Philadelphia experiment sequence of events. I need to talk with you about this tomorrow. So they arranged to meet, but they never met because the next day he was found dead in his car, which had been filled with exhaust fumes.
Morris,
now, I want you to ignore the fact that he had told his friends for months that he was thinking of ending his life, and instead focus on the fact that Morris Jessup it has been proven, worked for the US government from 1943 to 1944, but in his FBI records, which were partially released, it was never revealed in what capacity. So now we flash forward. We've got the event that happened in the 40s, in 1943. We've got Jessup researching this in the 50s, who dies in 1959. We're now in 1989 and focused on a guy called Al Bielek.
How does old Al fit in, Tim?
Well, Al watched a movie which had come out 4 years prior called The Philadelphia Experiment, which was about the Philadelphia Experiment. And as soon as he saw the movie, he suddenly had flashbacks and remembered that, in fact, he was a seaman on board the Eldridge at the time when the experiment happened.
My God.
And he was actually in the body of another person. But I don't want you to focus on that fact. What I want you to focus on is that in addition to being on the Eldridge, he had been in other experiments as part of Project Montauk and had travelled to the year 2137 and also to some year in the 2700s, the 28th century.
Oh man, that would have been a wild time.
Yeah, and he was able to come back and report back to everyone that computer systems ran cities at that time, which I guess was a novel concept.
A chilling vision of things to come.
Things that were probably happening in 1989, I imagine. So there you have it, Carlo. Conclusive proof that a ship teleported and or possibly time travelled originating in 1943, all thanks to science.
Wow, I mean, you know, and people say it just gets our phones running, you know? Science can do so much.
Science can, if you put science to the task.
That is wild, Tim. I did not get as far as you got. I looked purely at the naval incident of the Origin. I didn't hear all of these bizarre and fascinating stories of people.
Do you have any additional details that I missed, Carlo? Things that happened that you feel need mentioning?
Well, yeah, the interesting one thing I would like to talk about is the guy Carl Allen, who wrote the original letter under the name Carlos Allende.
Yes.
He's really interesting because he was definitely a naval seaman. He was in the Navy and then in the Merchant Marine for a very long time, and he had two separate stories that he would bring out about encounters with UFOs. The thing that I'm really interested in about his letters.
So he sent letters to Jessup, right, about this incident, informing him.
He's the originator of the whole thing. Like, he goes, "Oh, I saw this incident. I saw this ship disappear, and I put my hand in all the way up to my elbow, and I felt its magnetic field." And then, you know, you can kind of ignore that he then says that he went on and met Einstein, and Einstein taught him physics for a couple of weeks to help him understand it.
I did not get that far in the story. That's very cool. I saw Einstein's name come up quite a lot, and I wasn't sure why, so I didn't drill into it.
If you're going to get anyone to teach you physics, it's going to be Einstein, you know.
Go to the source.
Go to the top, you know. But he's interesting because all of the evidence that I saw that has been brought out against him gives too much information. Like, it's more information than the Navy ever has to give. Like, he was sought out by these naval officers who were interested in the fact that he had written these letters and they had these reports. And they said, "Oh yeah, we want to find more about it." And every bit of information, they would give evidence. But I don't understand why they would. You know, like, what compels you to bring evidence out to disprove?
Look, I'm firmly of the belief that that ship time travelled and or teleported in 1943. But there are some people who believe that this has basically been a game of telephone that's happened over the years. And what it all boils down to is they were making an invisible ship to radar and to those bombs that are in the water. I've forgotten what they're called.
Something like
depth charges, yeah.
It was to, like, vulcanize the hull with magnetic energy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
that they don't sort of pick up that the ship is going past and don't discharge it and explode the ship.
Yeah. And then that if you go from Philadelphia dockyards to the Norfolk dockyards, during the Second World War, they built a secret network of canals so that ships could move quite quickly between those ports without having to go out to sea. So that,
is that true?
Yeah, so that trip could have actually been done quite quickly.
Ah, gotcha. So instead of being simultaneous, it was just pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Much quicker than you'd expect.
It's such a cool conspiracy theory because it's so outlandish, and I kind of don't understand how it survived so long. But I've encountered it a number of times. People are into it, and I'm into that fact.
Also, it's bizarre to me because why pick 1985? You know, why pick a year that everybody you tell the story is going to live to see? You know, it's like, okay, 1985. Where did it appear in 1985? New York, great. Well, we'll just go to New York in 1985. And did a World War II naval destroyer appear in New York in 1985?
Yeah,
you know.
definitely, they've destroyed the records.
Yeah.
So how does this rank in terms of, I don't want to say conspiracy, I want to say alternative history naval events in Carlo Ritchie's brain?
And I love it just purely for the fact that as soon as you involve the Navy in something, and Navy intelligence and a Navy research thing, everything gets this cloudy edges. Everything becomes slightly obscured.
Yeah.
And there's becomes much more scope for, you know, if somebody, for example, is said to be, oh, this person is insane and they've got, you know, all kinds of mental issues, there's that little part of the back of your brain goes, well, but, you know, the CIA also did all these crazy drug experiments on people and made them insane. So
Yeah.
it's not exactly an argument that it didn't happen.
Should we get into the Unabomber one episode?
Oh, God.
Well, he was definitely a subject of MK Ultra, and his dad was like in the CIA, I think, and part of the program.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's quite scary and fairly well documented. It's a little bit more juicy than the Philadelphia experiment, that's for sure.
Goodness gracious me.
Hey, Carlo, I'm going to move on with different bits of the show. Do you want to tell the people anything? Do you want to share any scientific messages?
No, you know, just keep believing that the stars are real. They're up there, you know, and
No matter what they tell us.
yeah, no matter what you think.
Always great to see you, Carlo.
Great to see you too, Tim.
Are you tuning in on the stream right now?
Yeah, on the old YouTube channel.
Okay, great. Well, let me tell you what's coming up right now that I'm going to throw to. Oh, actually, I want people to give me a ring, because up next we're about to play Are You Smarter Than a New Zealand Celebrity, which means the celebrity is ready and waiting, and we need a contestant to come and join us on Skype. So if you open up your Skype, blow off the dust, and look for This Is Happening at gmail.com. Send me a message that you want to play, and you will be our next contestant. In the meantime, though, this is probably my favorite bit of content I'll play this episode. I shouldn't pick favorites like that, but I am, because this rule's so hard. This was emailed to me by Phineas Teppert, and it stars Alice May Connolly, and it is seriously funny stuff. And it's set in World War II, Carlo, so you're like a period piece.
I love it.
Fantastic. Well, enjoy this, and see you later, mate.
Hooroo, Tim.
Am I gonna be okay, Doc? You're gonna be just fine. Hello, Father. What are you doing here? Oh, you know, just hanging out. So, any last words? You don't have to do that. The doctor said that I was gonna be okay. Is that what the doctor said? Very well. I mean, you look great. It wouldn't surprise me if you lived for another 100 years. We're gonna get married in the spring. Oh, The spring. It's a long way away. What, are you getting married at a cemetery? I've never done one of those before.
Did I lend you $10 yesterday?
Yes.
Can you give it back?
I will get that back to you tomorrow.
Are you gonna be okay, right, Doc?
You're definitely going to stay alive.
Yeah, well, sounds good to me. You can go to heaven now. See you later. Well, not you, because...
Give me back my $10.
Fuck, I love that so much. That's Alice May Connolly, who I definitely should have a car on for, but they're not working at the moment. So my apologies for that. But I've got a more important thing to tend to, because right now I've got a very special man on the line who it is my distinct pleasure and honour to welcome to the science happening. Oh, it's all big.
Oh,
So it's still a mystery. This is cool. People can only see
that's weird.
the back of your house, but it's like quite mysterious.
Okay, let me tell you what you're looking at there. Okay, you're looking at a natural health. This thing here. Oh, there you go. This is like a natural health almanac. This is a carnival mask of the devil. There. This here is a. Can you see that painting there up there?
Yeah,
This is an oil painting a friend of mine, Dennis Blair, did, and it's of a dust mite.
it's Mikey Havoc, everybody. Welcome to the show, Mikey.
And here's my hi. And here,
I'm going to tell you, man,
Here's what
your
my
sound is insane. Can you
Okay.
see if you can turn the microphone down on the computer a little bit? Because it's
yeah, okay, hang on a second. I'll hold up my handmade robot. 1 second. 1 second, mate. 1 second.
I'm loving this robot, by the way. This is fucking cool.
This is isolation robot that I made for my son. And look, Play-Doh tubs.
Oh, sorry, I'm in the way. Hold on, let me move a window. Move that to the mid. What we're looking at.
Yeah. There you go.
What do we? Has he got boosters?
Play-Doh tubs for feet.
Fuck, that's good.
Homemade, man.
Oh man, that is a real quality robot. I used to spend my whole childhood making robots.
It's got a magic key and everything.
Little wind-up thing.
Yeah.
Sick.
The head turns. The head turns. I made this in isolation, man.
What's
And
the
he liked it
what's,
for about half an hour.
what's the main construction material?
Okay, this box here is a from my Apple TV box.
Nice.
This was a cell phone box, I think, maybe. There's toilet rolls there, old car aerial there, but with a bit of spongy stuff on the top.
Bloody brilliant.
And yeah, and a lot of love, Tim.
Yeah, that's the secret ingredient for any good robot.
So we input. Let me
Yeah,
just.
thanks, mate.
we
I'm
just
going to
tried
put on
this.
screen while you're doing that.
Is that better, Tim? Does that not make any difference? Is it?
It's still pretty loud and distorted, Mikey. I can hear you, but it's kind of cool in a way, but it's also a little bit hard to hear you. I think I'm hearing my own voice coming through now. Hey, so call now, folks, if you would like to participate in this fantastic game. In the meantime, Mikey, were you saying that you hadn't heard of the Philadelphia experiment before? Because that would shock me.
Came in at the fringe of it, and I still too loud. I'm still too loud.
Oh, that's good. No, that sounds good.
Oh.
Yeah, if you just move the microphone away, that's cool.
Okay, so I came in at the sort of the last third of that, and I just was clutching for some sort of
Long story short, Mikey,
conversation. Yeah.
the US Navy teleported a naval vessel, a destroyer class ship.
That much I know. But you guys seem to know the whole story, and I missed it.
Well, that's all right, because this episode will come out, so you can just view the 3 minutes prior to when you tuned in.
Who will be challenging my my quizzing brain for quizzing?
Well, this is the thing. I'm waiting for someone to come through on Skype, and
Too scared.
I've been having a lot of trouble on Skype because it's shit. You know what I mean?
It's old fashioned. It's a bit
It's
like
old-fashioned.
lockdown. It's a bit old fashion.
I've clicked it into the program that runs this live stream because it just sort of works a little bit, but then it doesn't work with anything else. You know what I mean? So if people try and find the show when they're on, like, first of all, no one uses Skype anymore. Secondly, very hard to find people on Skype if you're not friends with them directly, if you're just searching.
Yeah.
And then they'll send a message, and then like 20 minutes later, the program will then eventually, when it decides to, deliver that message to me.
Okay, well, we're doing all right, though. We're on, I mean, I've got, you're on the TV behind me there with a little bit of delay.
Yeah, that must be freaky.
I'm not trying not to look at it.
Yeah, that's good. Don't, because otherwise it'll freak you out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I do encourage someone to come on through because we've got a fantastic game to play with Mikey Havoc. But in the meanwhile, how's your lockdown been?
Lockdown's been pretty cool, actually. I have found it to be, I moved into a new house. Here it is, here. Like 2 days before lockdown, and that was challenging because I got my internet on the afternoon of lockdown. Whoo! It was lucky, eh? Imagine, can you imagine no internet for the whole lockdown? You'd be books.
Fucking imagine.
You'd be books. Books and drawings, and you'd be talking to the trees and that. But I've been doing a lot of getting out and about. I've been going to Cornwall Park and walking a lot.
Nice.
And like a lot, more than I've ever probably walked before in my life. It's really cool. And like I say to you earlier on this afternoon, it's like being in the Victorian era before TV and stuff. Everyone's like, how do you do? Hello, nice to see you. Keeping respectful distances. And you know our good friend Alice Murray?
Yeah.
Yeah, Alice. So I saw Alice walking down. Alice just got a new job. And I saw her walking past, and because people are in their sports gear as opposed to their going out clubbing or see you at work gear. They're in their sort of hats and sunnies, and so I didn't recognise her for a second, and I saw her and her boyfriend Paul walking past. I went, oh hey, and I sort of at the last minute, congratulations on your new job, and sort of thing. And about 100 people in the park all turned around like, shush. Like that's the park's Cornwall Park.
You also can't spread the virus with volume. People are forgetting themselves, you know.
But you could scare people quite, and it just showed me how much volume can scare people in these delicate times. I hated the first bit of the lockdown because it was sketchy and uncomfortable, and I really, as someone who loves conspiracy theories or loves truth, that's what I love, Tim.
There we go. Yes, nice.
I don't care about theories. I just love the truth.
Yeah.
I've never been so bummed out by so many dickheads with their reckons. Hey.
Man, we kind of
Facebook mums stick it up your ass. Australian YouTubers stick it up your ass, and pretend doctors. What is a pretend doctor?
Mikey, you and I used to swap stories a lot when we were working together about truths that we had learned on the internet. But it's all gone to shit now because they're not fun anymore, and people are taking them too seriously. And suddenly you got some dumb idiot. It's a bad scene. I don't want to get into it. It's too much of a bummer. I've got a contestant for us though. How about that?
Sorry, you just froze up there for a second.
Oh, sorry, mate. I've got a contestant for our game.
Oh, good. Well, that'd be why they froze up. Because just okay, right. Okay, cool.
Now I've got to figure out how to add them to the call, which should be happening.
It should be here
now.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah, now I've got to change over a little doohickey here. So everyone, this is very exciting. We should be joined by, I'm assuming, a person named Tom, based on their Skype handle. But time will tell. Hello, contestant. You're coming through.
I thought Tom was on a rebounder then for a second. Thought he was coming to us live on a rebounder, a little trampoline.
We'll get the headphones in.
Oh, nice. Hey, good. Nice to see you both. Oh, it's Tom. G'day, mate. How are you?
It's Tom Soup. Hello, Mr.
Tom
Havoc.
Noiseling, everybody.
Hello there, Tom Soup. And is that the good lady Tom, is it? Standing next to you?
I'm Tegan. Hi.
Hi, Tegan. Hi, how are you?
Hey Tegan, Tom's responsible for a lot of the lovely graphics and cool little segmenty package things, titles and stuff that we play on here. He's an incredibly talented man.
We're just playing around in After Effects, having a good time.
We're all having a good time here.
We're all doing it hard.
Hey, do you guys want a title sequence? Because you better fucking believe I've got one for you.
Love a title sequence.
Yes.
All right, we'll check this shit out. Smarter than a cylinder. All right, you guys couldn't see that, but it was just take my word for it. Very flashy, very cool, very legit.
That's really
Stunning.
cool.
We can
That's
see
really
it.
cool.
Oh, great.
Wow.
Are we allowed to be a team?
Cool.
Yeah, because Mikey's very
Yeah,
smart.
So, Tom, you've already made that decision. You've already done.
We decided we don't know much about science, so we thought we'd better go on it together.
Fair enough. Well, you've got to get up pretty early in the morning to find a partner to enter a quiz against Mikey Havoc because he knows his shit.
I didn't know it was
Oh, no.
science. Okay, right. Let's go.
Okay, folks, so we've got 10 questions for you, and I'll explain before each one, but some are true or false, some are open, some are like you got to pick the closest number to the correct answer to get the point. It's all pretty self-explanatory. The main thing you need to remember is that if you think you have the correct answer, tag in with your name.
You mean tagging like Mike or something like that?
Exactly.
Yeah, like that?
You've nailed it, Havo. That's
Well,
it.
can we just test our buzzers? Mike.
Tom! Oh, should we
Should we say
Excellent.
we can't really
we'll say Tomgan?
I don't see. If I'm going to play against two people, I'm going to reckon you either have to say Tomgan, or
Yeah.
or Tiom, or one or the other. If you say, I reckon if they both yell it out to him, that's my point.
Yes, I'm going to go with that because it adds such a prisoner's
I mean,
dimension
just,
to
you know,
all of
just means
this.
that they
Wait,
have
so
to
only
work
one
as
of us
a-
are allowed to buzz in?
Yeah,
well,
if you buzz in
shit fight.
simultaneously, it's nullified and it goes to Mikey, okay? So you've got to work
Is
together.
that what he means?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's what I mean. That's what
Only
I mean.
one of us
Yeah,
can
yeah.
buzz in,
Okay.
otherwise it's neither. Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
I
by
think
the way,
I
I'm
get
just getting a
Unless-
reminder on my phone that my comedy festival show is kicking off in 10 minutes. So
Oh, great.
What?
it's all cancelled, Mikey. Don't worry. I just didn't take it out of my calendar. All right, first question. And this one,
Massive social distancing, eh? Yeah.
this one is a true or false. The question is, Nikola Tesla cured Mark Twain's constipation. True or false?
Mike,
Yes.
No,
Mike Havoc.
I'm going to come in and say true just because it's so absurd and they were alive around the same time.
Do we
Yeah.
get false then?
Yeah, you guys have
You're
false.
going to take false by default. Actually, you don't. How did we do this last time? You actually get to pick, I think. But if Mikey's right first, he gets the point. So I'd just go false if I were you.
Yeah.
We'll go false.
Tesla's
And
like
Mikey
very
Havoc's got the point.
surprisingly quite recent
So
guy.
what-
Eh?
So was that true? Did I get it right?
It is absolutely true. So Tesla had what laymen called a earthquake machine in his laboratory. It was actually a high-frequency oscillator. Almost broke his lab many times and caused a hell of a ruckus in the neighbourhood. And he got Mark Twain in to stand on the plates because they were friends. And within 90 seconds, he'd been constipated for a long time.
Evacuated his bowel.
He ran to the toilet. He got to the loo in time, but
Can I hear you say the words evacuated his bowel?
Mark Twain evacuated his bowels in the bathroom of one Nikola Tesla.
Wow.
Don't hear that very often, eh? Oh, that was a
Evacuation complete.
How I bet, and those are the days too when a gentleman probably didn't carry a spare pair of pants with him. You know?
Do you do that now, Mikey?
Maybe.
Oh, cool.
I know.
Okay.
Okay, here's the story. I know a guy that went for a job interview in Wellington not that long ago. A good friend of Jeremy wasn't myself, and called us up when we were on the road down a TV show. So about 15 years ago. So about the time when white jeans were cool. And he shit himself in white jeans going to a job interview. Imagine
Gutted.
that.
How did he recover? What happened next?
He called us up and thought it was hilarious. And we were just like, he's an adult, you know?
That's the only way to get through it, though. You got to own it.
You got to ask yourself, was there a Tesla coil in Wellington?
I'm going to move on to the second question now. Enough of this poo talk.
You've got your comedy show coming up.
This is all good material. Second question.
Second
Closest correct answer wins. How many known elements are there on the periodic table?
Oh,
There's heaps.
Tomgan.
Yes, Tom.
Okay.
Gin.
there's heaps.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
get ripped apart. I'm gonna Isn't it like 120 or something?
Mikey? Oh, hold on. I'm taking you off screen for a sec. Oh, wow. What happened there? My bloody Skype hung up. This is a critical moment, everyone. Oh, but now we've got 2 cameras on me. That's wild. It's like a really shit music video. Let me see if I can jump back into the call.
Okay.
Am I here?
I'm going to go for 111.
Ooh.
The closest number, right?
That's right. Tompkins taking it out. It's 118, which makes you guess of 120 very bloody close.
Wow,
Well done, my friend.
Very close.
Hey, do you know where I saw that question? I watched that. Have you watched Quiz Show yet? Or was it called Quiz or Quiz Show? It's like a 3-part. It was one of my mini isolation things I watched. It's about the controversy about the guy that was coughing during the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire thing. It's really good. It's a really good watch if you want to look it up. I think it's either called Quiz or Quiz Show. But it's just 3
It's
parts.
a full
really
documentary, right? Like full feature length.
It's like a dramatization of it.
Oh.
Sort of thing.
Like a documentary.
All based, bit of dramatization, and all based on fact though, you know. And it's got the guy from the guy that is Siobhan. Do you watch Succession? Anyone?
No.
Have you never seen Succession?
Well, is it like The Crown?
Ooh, do you know what? It's 1,000 times better. The Crown's already got it, actually. I'm enjoying The Crown, but Succession is. You've got to watch Succession, and that's massively addictive.
It's what everyone says. It's what everyone's been telling me. I'm reading books now, man.
Oh,
I'm a book guy now.
Books. The third channel.
Not me. I haven't read any. These are my first books. Question 3. Who was the first scientist? Oh, which scientist was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize?
Fuck. She did the found out about nuclear radiation or something? What's her name?
Have we got a buzzer?
I've got no idea the name.
Can I give you? I'll give you both initials. Okay.
Okay.
First name, initial, M.
Okay. Oh, no, M. Okay, sorry. M.
Surname, initial, C.
Oh. Moira Christmas.
And Tomkin, your answer?
It's one of those things where you've read about it in the last year or something, and it's just gone.
Yeah. It's definitely a person who is sort of perpetually floating around. That's going to be
Miley
time.
Cyrus.
I don't know.
Miley Cyrus is a great guess, right up there with Marine Christmas, but the correct answer is Marie Curie.
Oh, yeah.
And you're dead right. Her and her husband fucked around a lot with radiation.
People are yelling at us in the comments right now, I reckon, eh?
Oh, yeah, there's a few
but
people got in.
to be fair, name 4 people that have won Nobel Prizes. Like,
Yeah.
tons of people win them, and you never really. They do good work. I'll give them that, but you don't really. Oh, there's a little putty cat.
Not
This is one
always.
of our foster kittens.
Oh, yep, you gotta foster the kittens.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, I've got unwittingly fostering about 30 kittens out the back. Me, but they're all out there.
No.
Is it a boy cat or a girl cat?
This is a girl. This is Delaney.
Delaney. It's cute.
You know my mum always, the periodic table thing, maybe this stuck with me. The first way to remember the whole first lot of them is you say this gobbledygook, Hahili Bibkinoff Ninam Galsips Clarka.
How's that memorable?
Like Hahili Bop
cool.
is hydrogen, helium, lithium, whatever. It's crazy. Eh?
Well, I'm impressed, Tom. You've got a better mnemonic than my not having one at all. But usually those things make stuff easy to remember. It's not just a bunch of jumbled letters and whatnot.
It's funny that you remember that sort of thing though, because I remember a kid's book from when I was a kid. I think it was a Chinese fable about a kid called Riki Tiki Timbo Noso Rimbo Charibo Ruchi Pipri Pimbo. He gets caught in the well.
I feel like you just made that up then.
I know, it sounds like it, but no, it's true. And it's not true, it's just a kid's story. But he falls in he thinks he's great, he's got this great big long name, but he falls in the well, and then everyone goes, guess what? Has fallen into the well. And it takes everyone so long to tell them that they can't rescue him in time, but they could have.
Shit.
It a shorter name, I think. That's how I remember the story.
Now, this is a very good story for Tim, Tom, Mikey, and Tegan. Your fourth question, contestants for the science quiz, is what is the name of the world's largest particle accelerator?
Tomkin.
Tom. Oh, Mikey, you look so gutted. Tom can go.
Is it the Large Hadron Collider?
Yes, it is.
Large Hadron Collider.
Yeah, one switcheroo letter away. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to just say yes.
We gave, we've given that big drill that's drilling the new underground railway in Auckland. What's it called?
Yep.
That
CTR or whatever it
They
is.
call it the Dame Turia. They came up with a name for it the other day. It's a really unusual name for the.
Oh, have they officially named it, Mikey? Or
Yeah.
this isn't a joke name?
Who was that beautiful? No, the beautiful old Maori kuia from years ago.
Oh, Kirita Kanawa.
Did the walk the length of the island.
Oh, yeah. I've forgotten her name, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
You're ripping up now. That's what they named that drill, that underground drill. I thought
That's
they would have
great. Hey, well, that's fucking good because now maybe we won't forget her name. Because that's why you name drills after cool people.
But why didn't they give the Hadron Collider a name? Like Boaty McBoatface or something.
Yeah.
Someone
Back
says
in the day
Fina
when-
Cooper.
Dave Fender Cooper. Sorry. Yes,
Nice.
that's exactly,
Thanks.
yeah.
Thanks, Finn.
Which is an odd name for an underground drill. Don't you think? It was a
Fifth
part of the
question.
name drill.
It's a great name.
By the way, the Large Hadron Collider is not operating at the moment. Don't know if you folks know that. It's been off since 2018.
Really? Just prepared itself for 2020, year of fuck-ups. Hey.
Yeah, it's taken a sleep. Your fifth question, adults have 206 bones. How many bones do newborn babies have? This is a multi-choice. Is it A, 180, B, 250, or C, 300 bones? How many bones do newborn babies have?
Mike.
I'm going to go 180, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say B. What do
B
you
is
think?
250. Do you want to go with that?
Yep. Yes. Yep.
Tomkin, Mikey, you're both fucking wrong. It was C, 300.
So we lose bones.
You do. It's mainly, I think, due to the fact that they fused together. You'd know this, Mikey, being a dad.
You count your children's bones lately?
With two bones down.
That's a fun little science fact for you. Your sixth question is a true or false. Albert Einstein's...
So quite hard questions, I say no. So.
Well, this is a true or false. This is a fitty-fitty. Albert Einstein's father was a narcoleptic kleptomaniac who was repeatedly thrown in jail when he'd fall asleep mid-theft.
Tungan.
I didn't say my name. Yeah,
All right. Tongan?
You go, I'll take the...
I'm going to go with true.
Mikey?
Well, I'll obviously
I feel
go
like I've
with,
heard half of that before.
You go with false?
I feel like that's false. Actually, I'm not. I'm just saying false because I'm going to go against what you guys say, but it could be true.
Mikey, you'd be absolutely right. It's completely false. I just thought the idea of a narcoleptic,
Yes.
a narcoleptic kleptomaniac was a funny idea to me. Seventh question, and this is a true or false as well. Brian May of Queen, the band, obtained a PhD in astrophysics in the 1970s. Mike.
True.
Tomkin?
Yeah,
that sounds true,
I'd
but now
say
we have to
true.
go false.
Yeah. I don't know.
What's your answer?
We're going false to
Well,
be.
Mikey was first, so yeah.
You gotta go false?
Yeah.
Well, Tomkin, you're actually correct. This is a true question.
We win by default.
Yeah, I thought I'd have some rocket edge on that one, but no, obviously.
Sorry, man. He has a PhD.
Did you hear the latest story about him, though?
What? Say that again, Mikey?
The story like 2 days ago. He's in his quote shredded his gluteus maximus muscle. He shredded his buttock muscles gardening.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did they go into detail of how that was there shares involved, or did he fall out of a tree, or what?
I didn't. You know, I didn't. I just looked at it, but it was from reputable sources. It came from quite a few reputable news sources, and I just thought I'm going to sit on that story, excuse the pun, for a while. You know.
Nice. Well, someone should. He can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
The actual situation with Brian May is that he started his PhD in the 70s and then left it and came back to it and completed it in 08. And apparently said it was really easy because no one had done, like the thing about a PhD is you've got to break new scientific ground, you've got to do research that no one's undertaken. And he did it in a very specific field about the velocity of dust in space, and no one had really done any research. So your 8th question is, name the 3 most common states of matter.
Tongan?
Oh, Mike.
Tomgan, I heard first.
Tongan.
Solid, gas, and liquid?
Yeah, you're correct. And now there's a 4th one. Did you guys know that?
Ooh. Are we talking? Is it plasma or something?
It's time crystals.
Time. Of course.
No joke. This is the science thing.
Time crystal. That's so cool.
Dude, I genuinely tried to look into it and ran out of time because it is the most complicated, ephemeral concept.
Wow. Oh, well, good job.
It's not for me, but it's cool. Like, the scientists have named them time crystals, which I find delightful. Your second to last question is,
I think you guys have already won, haven't you?
Certainly not.
I've lost all track.
Oh, actually, who won that last one?
We did.
Tomgan.
Hey, we'll still play the game.
Yeah.
Your 9th question is, who's on the New Zealand $100 note?
Mike.
Mike.
Rutherford?
Yeah, nice.
Oh.
Nailed it.
No, I was thinking of the 50 guy.
We're independent
So,
filmmakers. We've never seen a $100 note.
What is there a $100 note? What?
I didn't know they went that high.
Brown.
Your final question, who invented powered flight?
Powered flight.
Mikey?
Powered flight?
Yeah.
The Wright brothers. No.
Howard.
I answered that.
Like an engine.
Yeah, I can remember. Yeah. That was just pedals, wasn't it, really?
Are we
No, it's
talking?
powered flight. There's powered flight.
Oh, well, okay. Well, then there's. Oh, okay. Well, this is controversial answer, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the wording's confusing.
Tomgan.
Are we talking about the New Zealand farmer guy?
Maybe. I don't know.
Who
Maybe
got
lock in an answer and find out.
Check that answer as well, because I was going to say. But now,
Is that true?
Richard Pierce.
Yeah, I'm going to give Mikey the point because
yeah,
I don't
that's
think it
fair.
changes the
Is it
outcome.
Richard Pierce?
If you ask this guy, it fucking is Richard Pierce.
Yeah.
Nelson born.
If you're Kiwi, man, if you're Kiwi, it's Richard Pierce. What?
He beat the Wright brothers by 9 full months. And the reason why everyone thinks it's the Wright brothers is very simple, because Orville lived to be pretty old. And he agreed to give, well, he actually didn't want to give his plane to the Smithsonian, which is the national series of museums that preserve all the art and history in America. Smithsonian really wanted the plane. And he said, I will give you the plane on the proviso that you insist we invented powered flight, me and my brother, and you will never hear any conjecture on the issue. So they took the plane and laundered this fallacy that Richard Pierce didn't beat them, but he fucking did. It was a Kiwi. We got up there first.
Yeah.
Suck it, Americans.
Sure, bro.
Yeah.
Which,
crazy.
so I'm giving him the point there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's a tie.
Whoa.
Wow.
Because there were 2 0-pointers, which means I really should have got a tiebreaker. Okay. How far away is Earth from the sun? Closest answer wins.
Mike. 270 million miles.
270 mil, okay. And Tompkin?
What? What did you say?
270 million.
270 million. Should we
270
go?
million.
I reckon it's more than that, so we go a bit higher.
Are we talking kilometers though?
You can give it a miles or Ks or something else if you want.
Yeah, can I say my answer's 270 million somethings then? I can't remember which sure. I think it might be Mars. I don't know. I think it's K's actually. No.
It's three. Is it 300-ish to the moon? I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not going to tell you.
300 Ks or
Just give a number.
Or is it 3,000?
Higher.
3,000 Ks to the moon.
Gonna need an
What
answer,
did you
Tom.
say? What did you say, Mikey?
I said 270 million, which 370 million. Did I say two or three?
Two.
I think I
You
said
said
270 million. I don't know whether. I just jumped into my head.
300 million.
300 million. We'll say 300 million.
Yes.
All scope of. It's just like I don't even know what number that is. I don't even know how, in relative terms, how far away that is.
According to Monsieur Google, it is currently 151 million kilometers, which means Mikey is correct.
She's pretty far.
That is
So,
quite
I
far.
thought it would be further than that though. Still.
Yeah.
The
Still.
300 thing is something though. I think that might be the speed of light. There's like it's 300,000 kilometers a second or something like that in a vacuum. I don't know.
And that takes 8.5 minutes for light to get from the sun to here.
If a light beam leaves the sun and it's 2 p.m. at the station, and no, we're not going to do the math on this live. It's very silly and boring.
2 minutes, 8 minutes past 2.5 minutes, 8.5 minutes past 2.
You want to know my favorite space fact? You three?
Shit, it's so.
Our planet is the only place that we know about that has this phenomenon, but that the moon is 1/400th the size of the sun, but it is 400 times closer than the sun, and that's the only reason we get perfect lunar eclipses and solar eclipses. How fucking crazy is that?
It's amazing.
Can I put a call out there for anybody who knows any more about, because the only article I've read about it so far had a paywall on it. You know, so frustrating. Yeah, continue reading? Question mark. I suppose I should have. But I think it was New Scientist talking about how there's constantly particles falling to Earth. Okay, so there's constantly we got bombarded by particles the whole time. But they found some in Antarctica which are shooting up out of Earth. So it's like, and
these are neutrinos, right?
I don't know if they're neutrinos. It's basically it's supposedly a potentially proof of a parallel backwards universe.
Love to hear that.
This is just something to dig around on. See if we can find out about that, because it's like it goes against everything that's supposed to be happening.
You've got your assignment, everyone. The upside down gateway is in Antarctica.
Of course, it has to be Antarctica. Of course, it has to be Antarctica, right? It's the cat.
That is fucking brilliant.
Yes.
All right, folks, I'm going to end this Skype call now. Thank you so much for playing. And Mikey, thank you for being our New Zealand celebrity in this edition of Are You Smarter Than a New Zealand Celebrity? It turns out the answer is no, because Mikey has bested you, Tomkin.
Two people aren't.
No, I think it was a tie. It's a tie, wasn't it? Really?
No.
You won the tiebreaker. Take the W, my friend.
You won.
Hey, okay, I'll take the win in isolation. We're all doing it hard. See you later. Bubble. And,
We love you, Mikey. Aroha nui. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Tegan. Bye, Tom. Bye, Kat, whose name I forgot. Delaney. Very cool. Great round there of Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity? Always good to see Mikey. And what a lot of science we got through. That's the main thing, right? Okay, what else do we have to do on the show? Liam sent us a cool animation, and this time, if you remember from an earlier episode, it's not freaky and going to give you nightmares before bedtime. So here is another fantastic short animation from Liam. Very cool and very on theme. I love that. Now, folks, I've got the second of our submitted Garfield fanfic, and as was evidenced by the first round of Garfield. It's very spicy fanfic. I have not pre-read these. So what I'm going to do is keep the comments open and periodically shift my gaze to the comments section. And if we need to decide as a community, as a happening community, that it's time to end it, you let me know in the comments. You say, Tim, stop. And if I see enough of that, then we'll stop. But in the meantime, don't stop prematurely, because Emma has gone to the trouble of writing this out, and there's a bit to this one. So give it a shot, would you animals, you Philistine. This is called An Impossible Situation by Emma Maguire. It's Saturday. Birds chirp outside, high up in their perches on the trees, just waiting to be caught by any enterprising cat that might come along. John Arbuckle's cat, however, is Garfield. And Garfield gives less than no fucks about birds and trees, and the general concept of combining the two. Garfield snoozes on the kitchen bench, ginormous and orange, and intends to do for the rest of that day, thank you very much. It's fresh, cool, nice out, the kind of weather that most sane people and normal people would be out in. Down the park, perhaps. But John is a geek, and due to the rigid character specifications of this genre of erotica, geeks don't go outside. Instead, he sits on his kitchen table, tapping away at his laptop with a big mug of coffee right in front of him. He's programming, using Linux or something. You know what the geeks do. He's a bit sad, actually. Liz, once again, wants nothing to do with him. I forgot about Liz. It's not his fault, really. The whole thing had just involved Garfield, a glass of milk, and something most people would call a half-baked revenge plot. He sighs again. He's tired and horny, but that doesn't really matter. He's alone for now, and he's jacking off in his room. And jacking off in his room seems a little bit like a waste of the day. As he reaches to take another sip of coffee, there's a knock at the door, in a cheery way that no postman has ever done. Someone calls mail delivery from the direction of the knock. It is, presumably, the postman. John sighs for the third time, much like an Austen heroine, I'm assuming it's like Jane Austen, begotten by the whims of a long-lost suitor, puts his cup down and goes to collect the mail. He feels a little feverish. The postman is smiling wide and holding a big box in his hands. It's marked with John's name. Garfield doesn't tend to get many parcels unless he's been on catnip benders in his address. John also has no idea what it is. He takes it inside and puts it down beside Garfield as he looks for a pair of scissors to open it. Garfield, apparently woken by the commotion, opens one eye, fixes John with a disgruntled look, and puts one paw out to touch the box. All at once, there's a flash of light, an ominous banging sound, and the horrifying sound of a cat's howl turning into a human-like wail. John blinks the sparks away from his eyes, wishing not for the first time that he had had the foresight to not bring random parcels into his house, and gasps. Where Garfield was sitting is something else. Something that, let's just say he looks like the bear version of Skimbleshanks from the 2009 paragon of filmmaking Cats, the movie, and leave it at that. It's also very naked. John blinks. What the but falls to the floor in a dead faint before he manages to finish his sentence. When he wakes up, something is patting him. More appropriately, someone is jabbing into his knee region. He cracks open one eye. There is a creature crouched beside him that looks an awful lot like the bear version of Skimbleshanks from the 2019 paragon of filmmaking Cats, the movie. Nope, he shuts his eye again. Time out. He's going to make his brain take a vacation until this ex-cat isn't rubbing his thigh. What the fuck? Someone says, and it takes John a moment to realise it's him. Look, I don't know, the artist formerly known as Garfield says. Weird kind of paw/claw hand still on his thigh. You brought the box in. I didn't make you touch it. John still has his eyes shut. He's seriously considering never opening them again. I was curious, Garfield bitches. You're always telling me to do more things, be more adventurous, don't just sit there and eat all that lasagna, Garfield. And now that I've turned into this, you're still complaining? Will I never be enough for you, John? This is fucking good. John cracks open one eye. Honestly, if he gets past the face and the fucking hell, no, absolutely not. He averts his gaze to the ceiling. There's just one thing he's never wanted to see. If there's just one thing he's never wanted to see, it's his formerly cat now turned into whatever he is junk. Aside from that, Garfield isn't that bad looking for a cat-human hybrid. Objectively, no homo, you know? What even are you? John gulps, voice cracking as he stares up at the ceiling. Hat? Hut? No, John, Garfield says. I'm a cumin. And you all know exactly how he pronounces it because this is a lazy joke. Okay, I'll take another run at it. I am a cumin. Round the mountains, John says deliriously because he thinks he's losing his mind. No, Garfield purrs, both literally and, you know, in a seductive way. Just in general. Wanna fuck? John chokes on his own spit for a second. Sorry? I'm bored. Garfield huffs and shifts his position. Something warm drapes itself over John's thigh. This is the turn. John prays to every deity that it's a tail. He opens his eyes. It is not. He squeezes them shut again. A, were you literally a cat 5 minutes ago and I'm not actually one of those weirdos who is into that nonsense no matter how much I'm sure someone on the internet already has written it? B, you have a tail. And C, I'm not into men. Are you sure? Garfield says, and reaches even higher with his weird clawed paw hand. Fuck, okay. You know when someone just decides to do things? Like when you buy an extra box of cereal at the supermarket, or when you just say fuck it and write Garfield porn in the middle of the night when you're bored on painkillers? It's that vibe. We're in it, we're good. Okay, comment section abides. We ride tonight. It's that vibe. Fuck it, John decides, and pulls the weird cumin creature formerly known as his cat into a kiss. Garfield tastes like cat food. I'm not sure why any of us is surprised. He's got a raspy tongue too, which isn't actually too bad. It's a little like the feeling you get when you're eating a pineapple, like your flesh slowly being sloughed out of your mouth, but in a kiss. If John's honest, he's had worse kisses. Why are you like this? John gasps between kisses. His skin feels a little bit on fire, but that could potentially be an allergic reaction to Garfield's new fur skin. Garfield shrugs, the moment weird and alien in his new arm paws. You know how when you're bored you masturbate? That's a thought John didn't want to think about. He's closing his bedroom door next time. No, liar. Garfield grins at him, all sharp needlepoint teeth. It's like that. We're still in it, folks? Yep. Okay. Later, John won't really be able to recall how exactly he ends up on his kitchen floor, head jammed right into the edge of the box the postman delivered. Cats like boxes, he remembers, unfortunately, with his former cat jacking him off, but he's not sure if he minds. Garfield's grip is furry, a bit too rough at points, and it's almost exactly what he needs. Jesus. John, not thinking about Liz, about his loneliness. He just wants Garfield to... Problem, kitten? Garfield smirks at him and leans down his lap at his cock. Leans down... Oh, to lap at his cock with that weird and wonderful tongue. Things happen very quickly after that. John comes back to his senses a little later, a little dazed, and gestures awkwardly at Garfield's crotch. Fuck, he can't even look at it. Do you want me to... He trails off. No thanks, kitten. I'm fine. Garfield nuzzles him with the side of his head. That was fun though. Same time next week? He reaches out and touches the parcel again. With a shudder, a shake and a bit of glitter, he's back to the orange cat John knows and loves. Garfield sneezes at him. Leaps back up onto the counter and goes to sleep. John looks down. He's covered in a mixture of cum and cat hair, which is something he never wants to see again. Picking up the box, he stumbles toward the bathroom, tearing open the tabs along the way. What tabs? Picking up the box. Oh, the tabs on the box. The bottle inside is small, round, and perplexing. The instruction guide with it reads, living with an unfortunate situation, finding love and impossibility, try Hair of the Dog, our new tonic. It'll leave you feline good in no time. Well, that explains nothing, John mutters, and turns the instruction sheet over. At the very bottom, in tiny print, it reads, do not use if you have a cat. Seriously, we don't know what this is, and we don't know what it does, but it's probably not great, eh? contains catnip and literal magic, someone sold us. Fantastic. John puts the jar on his bathroom vanity. He's going to have a long hot shower and resoundingly not think about it. Fin. That was sent once again by Emma Maguire. A fantastic piece of creative writing. Visceral, visual, and I would venture to say in the right parts, just as restrained as it needs to be. What a journey we've all been on, eh? Crazy stuff. Let's play a song. I think it's important. Let's not play a song. Let's play a short film. This was sent to us from Corey. I'll just see if I've got the email from Corey. Hi Tim, hope you're doing well these last days of level 3 lockdown in New Zealand. You know, I'm feeling a bit like Alice tumbling down the rabbit hole with that bit of fanfic, but I think I'm doing okay. We met last year with my friend Luke, aka Disaster Radio Eyeliner, at the opening night of your gig in Auckland for Space Couch. I'm genuinely interested in getting your reaction to the short film that myself and 2 friends made together for 48 hours. 48 hours happened very recently. You got to make a film in 2 days. This is Corey's submission. I've emailed him back because I had a watch of this before. I freaking love it. I hope you guys do too. Here is the 48-hour film from Corey.
Soap bars, 12 rusty nails, 15 drill presses.
What even is this? Some sort of Matrix shit? You saying we in a simulation?
Yeah, Johnny, where are we?
He hasn't said anything, boss.
Hey, shut up, asshole. I'm trying to watch the Daily Kino over here.
It's been 45 days.
Oh, it's truth. He's been hacking the system the whole time.
Wait.
Shit, sir. He is the Daily Kino.
I now have enough power to take down the system.
Oh my god, boys. He's ascended into a different astral projected dimension. Stop him.
Will not stop me from hacking your Kiwi Saver funds.
Sir, it ain't working.
Hey, boss, we gotta resort to
magical phaser laser.
Ah, no. My only weakness, dog magic. Oh no, help.
Boys, please. Why must you fight?
Mama, please go back to bed. I'll get the money for your operation, I promise. He's screwing with the Kino. No, Mama.
Halt. I can do one thing to save your dying dead mum. I will reboot the system using my digital life force. I will not make it, but dialysis dog may live on.
Hell yeah, dudes. That was freaking awesome and definitely a bit of me, right up my alley. And the comment section bloody loves it. They've gone absolutely wild, as well they should. Thank you for sending that in, Corey. You're a champ. As far as I'm concerned, you've won. You've won the whole damn competition. Making a movie in 2 days is hard, folks. You got to try it sometime. It's harder than you think. Meredith has sent in some beautiful sciencey art, and I want to show it to you. We love Meredith. Meredith sends us stuff quite a bit. She's an absolute sweetheart. And did I save her email? Perhaps not. Might try and hunt it down. But how cool is this science-themed cross-stitch? I particularly like the rib cage in the middle. It's stunning stuff. I wonder if can I buy that on Etsy, Meredith? Because I'd love to be able to. It's the good shit. There was also a song that I wanted to play. Oh, yeah, here it is. I thought I downloaded it. Oh, okay. It's, it's an MP3. Thanks again, Meredith. Bloody top stuff. Well, I don't have anything to pay for time, so you guys are just going to join me while oh no, this is going to be wicked hard to get this. Hold up. Bear with me, folks. While I do this, though, I'm very keen to hear what your favourite part of the show was today. I feel like that's a conversation I should be encouraging, to see what direction we should be going in the future for happening. I've made a bit of a call that after these first 20, I reckon I'm going to call that a season and just have a little bit of a brief break for a little bit. Star Wars wipe. Because doing 2 of these a week, just organising all the stuff, it gets a little bit hectic. So we might just need to take a slight chill on that. But you know I love doing it. So we'll figure out a system and we'll get back into it. It'll be great. Now I want to play the song that I'm downloading from Colin Sneed, and it's called Baby Bird, and it's pretty great. And I'm going to attempt to play it through, should I do this? Yeah, I will. Through Winamp, because if I do that, I think there'll be a way that I can have these cool visuals on. If you're old enough, if you're around my age, and I'm 33, and you're a nerd, you might remember a little thing called Milk Drop, which I've talked about in one previous episode. And it's basically, it's just a visualizer that this, I don't know, some guy, some coder made. I think he was like an artist in the late 90s, as a little plug-in to your MP3 player. But it just created the most cool visuals. Okay, this is working great. Here is the song. Enjoy it, everyone. Colin Sneed.
La 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 la.
Colin, Sneed, spell how you'd expect, and then whack.bandcamp.com onto there, and you've got where you can find the song. I'll add that to the show notes. I'm sorry the Chiron machine is broken currently. Oh, this is nice. Oh, fuck, did I push the wrong thing? I just had the DVD logo bumping around on my screen. Don't worry, you can't see what I'm saying. What I can see though, and what I want to let you guys know, is that Mikey Havoc has found an article about what he was talking about. Mysterious particles spewing from Antarctica defy physics. January 24th in the year of our Lord 2020. What's making these things fly out of the frozen continent? What better way to end the science happening than on this very article? Let's just do a quick scope. This is long. This is a bit long. I'm going to read every third paragraph and see how this comes out. Our best model of particle physics is bursting at the seams as it struggles to contain all the weirdness in the universe. Now, it seems more likely than ever that it might pop, thanks to a strange series of strange events in Antarctica. I added one too many strangers there. I was reading the wrong bit. As Live Science reported in 2018, those events, I've skipped now, along with several other additional particles detected later at the buried Antarctic Neutrino Observatory ice cube, don't match the expected behavior of any standard model particles. The particles look like ultra-high energy neutrinos, but ultra-high energy neutrinos shouldn't be able to pass through the Earth. That suggests that some other kind of particle, one that's never been seen before, is flinging itself into the cold southern sky. Now we're skipping ahead. But ultra-high energy neutrinos from deep space are different from their low-energy cousins. Much rarer than low-energy neutrinos, they have wider cross-sections, meaning they're more likely to collide with other particles as they pass through them. The odds of an ultra-high energy neutrino making it all the way through Earth intact are so low that you'd never expect to detect it happening. That's why the Anita detections were so surprising. It was as if the instrument had won the lottery twice, and then Ice Cube had won it a couple more times as soon as it started buying tickets. Well, it seems to me like the model was wrong. But in theory, there could have been ultra-high energy neutrino sources beyond the sky-wide flux. Barbano, who I assume we met in an earlier paragraph, told Live Science. Those neutrino guns, or cosmic accelerators, I'm going to put a link in the comment section. But this is compelling stuff. I always like to see scientists getting humbled, especially physicists, because they think that they're pretty close to having everything figured out, and then all of a sudden the South Pole starts spewing up a bunch of high energy neutrinos which shouldn't be detectable, and suddenly you've got to change your standard model and understanding of physics. Carpi. Way to go, universe. Just when we think we're starting to get it all figured out. Yeah, good point, Secret Beetle. Scara just said, oh no, I've seen a movie about mysterious shit in Antarctica and it didn't go well. Good movie that I haven't seen, but I did see Stranger Things, which ripped it off a bunch, so we should all see The Thing. Hey everyone, that's going to be the show today. Thank you so much for joining me. Please send me your content. And if you've got any creative friends, people who make creative writing, short stories, little drawings, anything, little sketches, little poems. What else can you create? If they've got a baby, I guess they count as a creative because they created a baby. They could put that on camera, send that in to us. Anyway, send it on in to thisishappeningshow@gmail.com. You can get all of the links at happeningshow.com. and all the previous episodes as well. If you are in a position to do so as well, you can support the show. I don't know what form it's going to take exactly going forward, except that I want to keep this thing changing and evolving over time, especially when we get access to more people being in the garage. It's an exciting set of opportunities out there, folks. So thank you for joining me on this voyage of science and discovery and proving that we can still have a good time while in lockdown. Have a great night, everyone, and I'll catch you in the next happening. Bye.